to the Wednesday, July 9th DDA board meeting and annual meeting. Maura, would you call the roll?
Micah Bartelme, Elizabeth Berry,
Present.
Steve Brummer, Alex Deek, Milton Dehoney,
Here.
Angela Jackson, Tyler Kinley,
Here.
Kim Mays,
Here.
Mike Micklon,
Here.
Theresa Nichols, and Molly Rowan. We do have a quorum.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? So moved. Second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right, now we move on to public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the body will have 3 minutes. Is there anyone from the public? Okay, that makes that easy. Executive Director report, Maura.
Not a report, just an announcement. In addition to having our board meetings here in council chambers, moving forward, we will have our DDA board work sessions here in City Hall in the basement conference room. Next week's work session will be canceled. We don't have any items for that work session, and you will be getting updated invitations from Kelly showing the new locations.
Thank you. I was supposed to make an announcement that there are microphones in front of you, and if you push the button to speak, or push the button and when it turns green, it's on, red is off. So just be aware of that. Do we have any DDA member communications? All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion, please, to approve the consent agenda?
Seconded.
All right, is there any discussion of the consent agenda? We have 2 items, the minutes from June and the resolution to approve DDA disbursements for May. All right, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. All right, that's approved. We have one presentation today from Bank of Ann Arbor, who's here to present a report on the DDA investment portfolio. As a reminder, we also have funds invested with Michigan Class Investment Pool, but we're just hearing about the Bank of Ann Arbor portion today. So, David?
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Reaver. I'm here with my colleague Fred Hegan. We are with the Bank of Ann Arbor, and we are responsible for your portfolio. So I'd like to be respectful of everyone's time. I thought 10, 15 minutes, does that work? Okay, great. If not, you can just give me the signal. Move it along, buddy. Okay. So if you turn to page, that would be me. Page 2. We have our outlook, and so we have it kind of blocked out, the economy, interest rates, kind of our view on the overall market. I want to talk a little bit about the economy. There's been a lot of news items recently about the economy and what's going on, and so I've got a couple charts in here to hopefully present some data and give you a better understanding of where we believe we are. So what we have seen is we've seen a strong labor market, but recently the labor market, I would say, is weakening, but it's not weak. And I'll present some other data about that. The real focus has been on interest rates, certainly around the headlines and the Fed chairman and things like that. But what is the Fed expected to do? And right now the market is pricing in 2 cuts, one in September and another one before year end. So we've had very mixed data regarding the strength of the economy, inflation, and so we've had weak economic data, weak good inflation reports, and then it's gone the other way. And so the market has really kind of moved on that. Last week, I believe it was last week, we had strong numbers on the jobs created. And so while there was a 18% chance of a cut in July before that number came out, it's basically down to zero now. So anyway, I do believe that two cuts, we will see two cuts this year. So turning to page 3, this is some data that I have used in the past that has helped kind of clarify where the economy is, because there's all these headlines, there's lots of things, sorting out what is data that you can act on versus data that you can just put aside. So with the help of my colleague Fred, who recreated this for us in the Bank of Ann Arbor, this is data that comes out weekly. It's a leading economic indicator, and it's rail carloads. And it comes out weekly, comes out every Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday. And it's good because it's timely and it's very granular. So we've got autos living in the state of Michigan. We've got information on autos. And then we also have intermodal, which we can break out, which gives us good insight into international, certainly China, thoughts on tariffs, things like that. And so far this quarter and this year, the numbers have been strong. So don't get too caught up in all the line items. Green is good, red's bad, but the green numbers are decreasing. So it's been a strong economy. I believe the Atlanta Fed is projecting about 2.5% growth for Q2 GDP. It was negative 0.5 for Q1, mostly because of net exports. So this is basically still giving us a green signal that the economy is still moving along. Turning to page 3. This is another one, unemployment claims, and these are weekly unemployment claims. So again, it's timely, it's a leading indicator, and this shows unemployment claims on a 4-week moving average. So when someone loses their job, first thing that they do is they sign up for unemployment benefits. So if the economy is weakening, we should start to see that number rise. You can see kind of 2025, it's going up a bit, but we had a good number on that last week that was around 230. So the red line is unemployment claims, weekly unemployment claims of about 300,000 per week. We're not there yet, but we are definitely trending up. So gets back to my first point, labor market's been strong, it's weakening, but it's not weak. And then page 4 is the yield curve. Usually a yield curve gives you an indication of how the economy is doing. An inverted yield curve, which is the green line, that was the peak inversion, meaning short-term rates were higher than long-term rates, is usually a predictor of a recession. However, it didn't really happen. But we are starting to see a nice upward sloping curve. And the good news for this body and this portfolio is we are able to invest and actually earn something on the cash that we have with just about zero risk. So, questions, thoughts on that? Page 5, this just gives an update and just focus on treasuries and agencies. That's primarily what we use in this portfolio. And this was as of yesterday, Monday morning, I believe. So you can see that rates drop as you move out the curve a bit. But the short-term 3-month, 6-month are being supported by the Fed funds rate right now. The second line on agencies, usually you can pick up yield or spread by buying agencies, but most of it is due to call risk, so they can call the bond if rates go lower. I'm not crazy about owning callable bonds with a high likelihood of interest rates coming down. So we're primarily investing in treasuries in the portfolio right now, but that changes all the time. Okay. Page 6. So that's our view on the economy, kind of the market, or the market that we are able to invest in. And page 6, this shows the performance of the portfolio. So if you look at year-to-date, in 1 year, that's the same. It's a June year-end. The portfolio returned 5.63%. And that's with no risk. Sorry, very, very little risk. Never say never, but very little risk. And I was talking with Sarah, and I was just looking at historical numbers. And I mean, 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, you're earning 1%, something like that. So it's been very positive, certainly putting the money to use when we can. 3-year return, 4.13%, and on a 5-year basis, which includes those lower yielding years, 2.3. Page 7 shows the portfolio, just kind of shows the return. I don't really like the graph on top. But if you look at fiscal year to date, it shows that cash returned 4.72%. In the fixed income, the invested amount in treasuries earned 5.89 for a blended rate of 5.63%. Page 8 is difficult to look at and will make you dizzy, so I'm going to move on. This is just the holdings of the portfolio, but it is much easier to see here, maybe, except it's smaller. So this portfolio shows the holdings broken down by maturity, and it also shows the yield to maturity. So if you look at that top one, Macomb County, Michigan Material, the yield to maturity is 4.02%. So if we continue to hold that until November 1st, that is our return. So the yield to maturity is the yield that we should be focusing on, because it takes into account not only the coupon, but also the cash flows of the last payment. So overall, the yield to maturity on the portfolio is, probably can't read that, but it is 3.83. And the duration, which is a measure of risk, is 2.31 years. And so what we have done with the portfolio over the last year is basically doubled the duration from a little over 1 year to 2.3 years. And I think that really makes sense in anticipation of that 2 to 3 year rates coming down.
Can you
Questions?
describe that a little bit more, just so I understand the duration to maturity? Like,
Sure. So you have your cash flows. Like if you look at, let's pick one here. Under maturity year 27. So what duration is it takes into account the cash flows, and it tells you how quickly you're going to be repaid on that bond. And so if we were to have a 100-point, immediate 100-point increase in interest rates, in theory, your portfolio would drop in value by about 2%. So it's a measure of risk on, so beta is used on the equity side. There are various measures of duration. Again, this is very short. It complies with Public Act 20. But we did extend it a bit in anticipation of rates coming down. They haven't come down as quickly, but I think it's still a very good move. Over 5.5% return on the portfolio. Did I answer your question, or did I muddy it more? Okay. Questions? Thoughts? Challenges? I don't know.
My only other thing is the attachment on the board meeting, I think is just one. Okay. I was like, that would be good to have all the, okay.
Thank you for noticing.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your work.
We appreciate your business and look forward to continuing to do a good job for you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, David. All right. Finally, in your packet, you'll find the staff reports, or that were attached to the packet, not printed. No action required unless there's any questions. Looks like there was some great throne and bike count data in there, so thanks for that. And we move on to public comment. Looks like we still have no members of the public. If there is, you're welcome to speak, but no. All right, so may I have a motion to adjourn our board meeting?
Seconded.
All in favor of adjourning? All right, thank you. We are adjourned. We're now moving on to our annual meeting agenda. And we need to do another roll call, I guess.
Micah Bartelme, Elizabeth Berry,
Here.
Steve Brummer, Alex Deek,
Here.
Milton Mahoney,
Here.
Angela Jackson, Tyler Kinley,
Here.
Kim Mays, Mike Micklon,
Still here.
Theresa Nichols, and Molly Rowan. We still have a quorum.
Thank you. So our first item of new business is the nomination and election of DDA board officers for fiscal year 26. And I'm going to start by asking to have a nomination for treasurer.
Having her consent, I nominate Elizabeth Berry for board treasurer.
May I have a second? All in favor of Elizabeth Berry for DDA board treasurer, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have a board treasurer. May I have a nomination for vice chair?
I nominate Mike McClellan.
Do we have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we have a vice chair. May I have a nomination for chair?
I'd like to nominate Micah Bartelme for chair.
May I have a second? All those in favor of Micah for board chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a chair. Next, we have a resolution to appoint the DDA Executive Committee. May I have a motion to reappoint the committee?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. That concludes our business of our annual meeting, and we will move to public comment. We still don't have any members of the public, it looks like, and so I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Great job, Mike.
Thanks.
Way to run an efficient
Quick.